Your head is pounding. You want it to stop, so you go to the one person who's supposed to know what helps. A doctor. He reaches for a jar and tells you to take 2 pinches in wine. Inside that jar is powdered human corpse. 400 years ago, this was real medicine, written into the textbooks, recommended by the most educated men alive. And the strange part isn't that people were stupid, it's that the smart ones agreed. For centuries, Europeans swallowed mummy powder for headaches, bleeding, bruises, stomach problems, and whatever else the body was doing badly that week. The past was scared. Disease was everywhere. Pain was normal. Surgery was horror with tools. If you got seriously sick, your options were prayer, bloodletting, suspicious herbs, and a doctor confidently guessing. So scared people bought almost anything if the label said it might keep death away, especially if it was expensive. Originally, mumia did not mean please grind this Egyptian person into wine. It meant tar, a black, sticky substance from the Middle East. It came from far away. It was dark, sticky, and unpleasant. Exactly the kind of thing humans mistake for medicine. Then Europeans looked at Egyptian mummies. Dark, covered in strange black material. The old medicine was black. The mummy was black. Therefore, eat the mummy. Now, imagine being an ancient Egyptian. You spend your whole life preparing for the afterlife. Priests wrap your body. Your family seals your tomb. Your soul is supposed to travel into eternity. Then 2,000 years later, a rich European with indigestion drinks your elbow in wine. That is not the afterlife package you paid for. But the corpse was only half the product. The other half was the story around it. To Europeans, mummies had perfect branding. Egypt was ancient, mysterious, far away, full of symbols nobody fully understood. The shopkeepers understood the game. Tiny jars, dusty labels, complicated names. A dark shop. A serious man behind the counter. A product from a place the customer had never seen. Made from a body the customer did not have to imagine too clearly. The mummy could not look too much like a person. It had to become powder. But here is the problem no one saw coming. Europe started running low on medicinal dead people. Not grain, not salt, not clean water. And when rich people are willing to pay for dead bodies, someone will always find a way to keep supplying them. So they faked them. Animal mummies entered the market. Bodies dried naturally in the desert entered the market. Newer corpses were passed off as older corpses. There were even claims of smoked camel being sold as mummy flesh. You wanted premium Egyptian mummy. You got barbecue camel. Even corpse powder had a counterfeit market. Some critics were not only saying, maybe stop eating corpses. The question was no longer, is this medicine insane? It became something darker. Is this the right corpse? And this is where it gets worse, because once you accept that a dead body can be medicine, you start getting creative with what else counts as an ingredient. First, the skull. Powdered human skull was used for head problems, because if your head hurts, use head. Then, the blood. Human blood was believed to carry vitality. People gathered near executions to collect blood from the condemned. A man dies in public, the crowd watches. Then someone wants the blood while it is still fresh. The executioner becomes a medieval juice bar. Charles II drank something called the King's Drops, a drink made with human skull in alcohol. Royal medicine. Then, the paint. A pigment called mummy brown was made from ground mummy material. So some people were not only eating ancient bodies, they were painting with them. A warm shadow on a portrait's cheek could literally be somebody's uncle. At that point, the mummy had completed the journey, from person to relic to medicine to product to fraud to luxury ingredient and finally to paint. We stopped eating mummies, but we never stopped buying the promise that somewhere in some rare powder or expensive little bottle, there is a shortcut around being human. Europe did not eat mummies because the past was insane. Europe ate them because humans are terrified of dying. And if the fear is strong enough, even a corpse becomes a luxury product.